Welcome everybody back to the weekly press conference for Indiana State football head coach Curt Mallory. The Sycamores are coming off a win against Youngstown State, 43-17, and they will welcome in the South Dakota Coyotes this weekend. Coyotes are coming off a loss to number one North Dakota State in the Dakota Dome, 59-14. Coach Mallory, I'll open up to you first. Just an opening statement on an impressive win in Youngstown, Ohio for your group, and now just time to turn the page for another challenge in the Valley.
Well, it's great. We went on the road last 2 weeks. Went to Southern Illinois, went to Youngstown State, two places that aren't easy to win, and our team was able to do that. We were able to overcome some adversity, losing two young men in our program. Our team rallied, and it was great to come back home 4-4.
Knowing you've had to overcome a lot in these past couple of weeks, you had back-to-back really difficult losses, the stomach in South Dakota State, Missouri State. Why is sometimes going on the road as a team maybe the best medicine to be able to rally? Some may think you may want to do it at home. Why for this group have you guys been able to thrive on the road?
Well, I think, the fact that we're able to be with them the whole time, whether it be the bus trip or whether it be in the hotel, but you're around them. But this is a close-knit group. This is a group that cares about one another. We go on the road, obviously around them in meetings a little bit longer, and the kids have handled it really well. You're always going to have glitches along the way in some of the trips, and our kids just keep on rolling and roll with the punches. And our road trips have, whether it be bad weather or a bus here or whatever it may be, it's really not that big a deal because it doesn't affect the game, and that's been the approach of these young men.
I asked you this after the game. I'll re-ask it here. How do you feel your team has responded to your specific message each week that you've had for them throughout the season?
Well, I think it all starts with after the Northern Iowa game last year. We knew we had a good core of seniors that were coming. We had a lot of young men in the program that were coming out to practice every day, even though the score didn't show it last year. But they were working hard. They were practicing hard. I said many times, this doesn't look like an 0-9 team or an 0-10 team that comes out to practice every day. And you knew you had something special and something that you could build on. And that's the approach that these young men have done. The reason why we're able to have some success this year is because it's been a group of gentlemen that have been all in.
When you think to the Youngstown game in terms of playing a complete game, how close do you feel your team was in doing that? You had the big fourth quarter where you were able to add on late, but in terms of playing a complete game, 4 quarters, where did you feel your team stacked up in that regard when you graded?
Well, I think we certainly played better in all 3 phases. To say it was complete, no, but you're never going to play a perfect game. But there were a lot of really good things that went on out there. And obviously going in at halftime 16-10, had some opportunities throughout the first half. I got some things corrected in the second half. We let them get a long run on us. They did a great job executing. We didn't fit it up right, but they got a great running back, and he was able to split us for a long gain. We were able to chase them down and give ourselves a place to stand at the 1-yard line. But there were a lot of good things out there, a lot of great effort plays, and a lot of big plays.
A week removed from, I don't want to characterize your team's performance against Southern in the fourth quarter as letting your foot off the gas.
Right.
Give Southern credit for making plays late. But a week removed from that where you saw a 24-7 lead, it cut to 24-21, what did it mean to see your team see a game that was somewhat within striking distance, and in that fourth quarter, just every time you had the football or you were even on defense, getting the scoop and score late, forcing them to turn over on downs, to see your team really just pour it on in the fourth quarter?
We've said all along, when you're building a program, there's a process. Unfortunately, you go through some growing pains, and sometimes that results in losing big. And we certainly did that a year ago. And then this year, we got some wins early, and then we lost some really close ones. And then we got that one against Southern Illinois where we won close. And and there was a time in that Youngstown State game where it could have gone either way. They could have gotten back into the game, and we were able to tighten down defense. We were able to score on offense and pull away with them and have a pretty lengthy lead and come away with a big win.
As you started preparing for South Dakota this week, what was your main message to your team? I know that message doesn't really change, but the biggest thing that you feel you want to accomplish with your group this week with the Coyotes?
Our message has been consistent. We need everybody. You're going to win with people. We're going to have our ups and downs, and we're going to rally around each other. That has never changed. What we talk about each and every week is getting better from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4 and so on and so on. That's the message. We control our own destiny, but it starts with this game against South Dakota at Memorial Stadium, and that's the message.
Looking at South Dakota, the biggest difference from a year ago, of course, there's no more Chris Streveler at the quarterback spot, but they felt really good about Austin Simmons and the offensive weapons that they had returning and coming back to this team this year. Even though they only have 3 wins they count for at this point, they're on a 3-game losing skid. They, just like us, have really been in a lot of their games, excluding the game a week ago against North Dakota State at home in the Dakota Dome. When you watch this South Dakota State team on film, specifically starting on the offensive side of the ball, what are some of the biggest differences and maybe how they run their offense compared to a year ago? But also, what are still some of those challenges that you're still going to face like you did a year ago in the Dakota Dome?
Well, there's a lot of the same players that we faced a year ago. Obviously, losing their quarterback, Streveler, from a year ago, he's Player of the Year. This is a playoff team, 1 year removed, with a lot of the same guys back. Austin Simmons played against us at the end of the game last year. He's had a good year this year, runs the offense well, throws the ball well. They're gonna up tempo you. They're gonna score points at will. It's a very explosive offense, as we found out a year ago, as you're seeing throughout this year.
Last year, Darren Greenfield was one of the best defensive linemen when you look at in the league and what he was able to really do this year. He's been able to get more tackles for loss as well. He's got 10 and a half on the year. He has 5 sacks to his name, which, of course, leads the South Dakota Coyote defensive group. The challenges their defense will present to you on Saturday.
Well, Darren Greenfield is a tremendous player. We saw it firsthand a year ago. You're seeing it throughout this year. If he's not one of the best D linemen in our conference, or he's probably the best. But what makes him is that his effort. He's got his motor never stops. He makes plays sideline to sidelines. But when you watch him play, he is a high energy, hard nosed, tough football player that I'm sure every team in this conference would love to.
Coach, when you think of your team this year, I think has done a really good job of focusing on the challenge at hand, not being too worried about what's coming. A lot of folks are starting to say, hey, this is a Sycamore team. You got a chance to make the playoffs. Sometimes that bigger picture can distract from what you have ahead of you. What is it about your group and how you keep reminding your group to stay focused at the task at hand, to know you can't reach those ultimate goals unless you win this weekend?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt in our minds that we've got a really, really good football team coming into our stadium. And our main focus, as it has been every week, is the next one. And this is the next one. And we don't care about any game beyond this one. It's all about South Dakota.